Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to organizer, participants and viewers. I will be doing my presentation today entitled Employing Metacognitive Awareness of Listening Strategies Checklist in Tackling Listening Skill During Pandemic. We are participating in category C for academician. So my name is Nur Annalisa Abdul Latif. I am the head of project. We have our content experts, Associate Professor Dr. Wadatul Akmamdin and Associate Professor Dr. Syansa Swanto. We also have our developer team. We have the science subject, Dr. Muhammad Azrul Abduraja. For English subject, we have Madam Iziana Hani Ismail, Miss Uswatun Nur Rahman Nur Hasana, and Miss Quincy Doni. So I think everyone can observe today that we are experiencing overwhelming impact of the pandemic, and it put language learning to become more challenging than ever. And I think that the situation around us demand us to be um, adaptable and also being able to change the pedagogical in order to suit the current needs. So the COVID-19 pandemic affected the universities, including us, and I think that we have experienced 2 years of using e-learning tools in order to curb the spread of the disease. We are teaching English subject, so we have 4 skills in English subject, namely writing, speaking, reading, and listening. So conducting listening skill in a full online format is definitely new to us for the instructor and also the students in university. So our biggest concern is that we afraid that making it online will make the skill becoming less improved. The current study is to investigate the process of listening involved and how strategies can be used in order to manage their comprehension. And the approach in this present study is to make students practice listening as a thought process in a form of metacognitive awareness. We also want to find out the students' level of metacognitive awareness of listening strategies and their perception about learning listening skill remotely during the pandemic. Teaching and learning principle involved. Of course, we take note of the listening process. We have 3 listening process here, which are bottom up, top down, and interactive listening. What we want to do in the checklist is you use the top down listening process when you use background knowledge in order to understand the text. Understand the video given, the audio given, and of course at the same time involves combining top down and bottom up in order to process your information. We also take note that metacognitive knowledge falls under cognitive of person. It involves a person factor. So on a macro level, okay, on a higher level, it involves the overall self-regulation on how you self-regulate your listening. Then on the micro level, these factors affect the quality and quantity of your processing resources available. We also would like to emphasize the self-directed learner. We want the students to be independent enough, okay, especially in listening, because listening is quite difficult to tackle when it comes to remotely. If it's writing, writing is very familiar to them. You give them questions and then they write an essay, right? But for listening, how to make them independent? So they need to learn to monitor and adjust their approaches to learning. It's not basically just learning, just listening to the audio and understanding things, getting the correct A, B, C, and D. It's more than that. Okay, so they may engage in the processes, such as from in the perspective of metacognitive processes. Okay, so that they can monitor and control their learning, assessing the task, and then evaluate their own strength. After they listen to the audio or video, they evaluate their own strength and weakness. We developed the checklist according to 5 distinct factors of metacognitive awareness of listening strategies, which are directed attention, mental translation, planning and evaluation, problem solving, and person knowledge. So the checklist is developed according to that factors. And then the implementation, we give them in science and also in English. A brief lecture was given to introduce students to describe Okay, metacognitive awareness, so that they understand the concept of it. And then each of the factors were thoroughly explained. We also explain what is directed attention, how to achieve that. And then we also explain what are the strategies for problem solving, person knowledge, so on. Okay. And then students were given the checklist. They were given the checklist in a form of Google form. Each of the checklist contains videos from YouTube with different themes. Okay, science, autobiography, social issue. And one of the checklists is actually their own lecture, science lecture. Okay, and then students were also asked to fill in the checklist after they listen to their science lecture. Okay, so after they listen to their own science lecture, they fill in the checklist. So evaluation, the strategies used were analyzed and computed in SPSS to get further explanation of students' metacognitive awareness of listening strategies. So impact on teaching and learning, I divide this into three. The first one is pedagogy. So approach listening in a principal manner. We want to approach listening in a more empirical manner, okay, rather than something that is very natural. All you listen to this and then you get the answers. It's more than that. It's beyond than that. Okay. What, of course, I think that a lot of people are aware of this. We underwent major changes starting 2021. So the test skill majorly changed in listening paper and included qualities such as complex lines, abstract topics, so idiomatic expression, and unfamiliar topics. So I think that it is crucial to do more than what listening practice in class, especially in the pandemic where they stay at home. We don't want to give them just more listening, audio. We want to give them more than that. But how? Self-reflect effort, of course, when it comes to talking about the never-ending pandemic. It's about the students independent, how to guide them remotely, how to make them conscious about their own effort. So I think that they can use this checklist for self-assessment in order to determine their current level of metacognitive awareness, and at the same time, of course, give positive influence. Like, you can do this alone. Okay, you can actually master this even more than when you are doing white listening. Okay. So it's a conclusion that the finding of this implementation can be impactful, especially when they want to self-assess themselves. Okay, I think that listening skill is also very relevant. Okay, in academic study, you will always listen to your science lecture. You will always listen to your lecturer talking in English in any subject. So I think that it's good to prepare them for their degree studies instead of only learning what listening skill, right? And then, of course, tackle a more challenging environment in their degree courses. Furthermore, the finding concerning students' perception and experience are very significant to tackle listening skill in a more challenging environment. So some of the publication involves references used in this project and this presentation. So thank you very much for your attention.